Did you know hidden deep in Mother Base's medical center is an ER room with Paz sleeping inside? To unlock this, you first have to extract the wandering Mother Base soldiers who will attack you like zombies on sight. But by using a cardboard box or playing the Love Deterrence acoustic theme on the Walkman speakers, they'll hear it from far away and eventually recognize that you're Big Boss. Capturing them will give the players photos from Peace Walker they can show to Paz, but comparing these logos from the outside versus the inside of Paz's room and finishing all these missions eventually reveals the whole side quest was all in Snake's head. In fact, if you call in a supply drop on the outside platform, it also appears inside the room, proving that Paz's room doesn't actually exist. Meaning, Venom Snake isn't a reliable narrator of the story, which leads to so much more secret details hiding around the map, gameplay, cutscenes, and even promotional material, all revealing the truth about this misunderstood story. As seen in a tweet by Kojima, this V actually doesn't stand for 5, as Peace Walker is already considered to be the 5th installment, hence the theme V for peace and victory. In fact, the only numerically ordered games are when the real snakes are playable, meaning this V stands for Venom Snake because you play as him in both Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain. Ground Zeroes is just Venom Snake's brainwashed version of the incident, as seen when Miller says these quotes.
I only want peace for my country. I can't believe we ever bought that cover story.
Directly contradicting the ending of Peace Walker, where Miller told Big Boss he knew the true identity of Paz as a triple agent. Not to mention Ground Zeroes' inconsistencies, like how Snake's shadow doesn't look anything like him, similar to how it is in the final cutscene of the Phantom Pain, or any time you try having the real Snake's hairstyle, but more on that later. No cigars or cardboard boxes are available in Ground Zeroes, a trademark of the real Big Boss. There's way more POWs shown in the cutscene that magically disappear from the game, the enemies asking Big Boss if he's also a phantom. And just like Shakti from Star Wars, the inconsistencies of Paz's death. Ground Zeroes shows that she exploded because of the second bomb, while the Phantom Pain shows that they did get the second bomb out and the explosion was from the enemy's RPG missile. All to contradict itself again at the end of Paz's story mode mission. Looking at the window of the helicopter at night shows the reflection of your player's avatar, just one of many foreshadowings Kojima hid in plain sight. Like at the beginning of the game where you need an interpreter to understand Russian, even though...
Your Russian is superb.
When rescuing Kaz, he tells Snake,
Save for all time's sake.
if you press the action button, Venom will unsurely say,
Kept you waiting, huh?
In Peace Walker, Big Boss had a panic attack upon hearing the boss's voice for the first time, while Venom Snake didn't even recognize the voice. Nor did the mammal pod to Venom.
It's not you, is it?
Or Huey when he first saw Snake. In fact, Venom called Huey
Dr. Emmerich.
instead of
Huey.
Eli's DNA test comes out negative as Venom's biological son, and the fact that the medic from Ground Zeroes shares the same voice as Big Boss.
Damn it, we were set up! We gotta get it out.
Plus, Naked Snake would never tie his hair back and always shows off the mullet, though Venom's hair is a bit shorter anyways. Unlike other shooter titles, if you play through the game with mostly lethal weapons, your horn will grow and eventually become Demon Snake, which is permanently stained in blood even if you take a shower or try washing it off in a river. The blood of your enemies are still on your hands. The only debuff this skin gives you is making it easier to be spotted, and to remove it you have to increase your heroism points, which in turn will also decrease your demon points, the opposite stat you get when you kill people. Even if you play mostly non-lethal like I did, to my knowledge, creating a nuke will always make you Demon Snake, since it minuses 50,000 heroism points and vice versa. But as shown in the trailer of the game, there could have been further steps beyond demon mode planned that resembled Skullface, which would have better linked the two as consumed by rage. But to my knowledge, this is only speculation. Although a lot of people don't like this feature, Kojima wanted to punish players for not being pacifists, as he always does in his games. You might have also noticed that Venom's harness hangs down behind his waist, while in Peace Walker it's properly secured. This was also done to further symbolize Venom's demon appearance with a tail. There was a rumor that Ishmael isn't actually Big Boss, nor is he even real, because he looks nothing like Snake, with 2 normal eyes and no facial hair compared to the real Big Boss we see moments later. Although this could have been a mask as Kojima wore in the promotional videos for the game, thanks to Adrian, a software engineer who made a deep dive analysis webpage on the game's code, shows us that Ishmael's bandages can be stopped from rendering, exposing his true identity. Comparing this to the medic's face from Ground Zeroes and the first custom character the game gives you in the Phantom Pain, it's safe to say at the very least this isn't Snake's head. All the coding evidence is on Adrian's weblog in the description if you're interested, but this might explain all the other inconsistencies of the hospital mission brought out by PythonSelkan's theory videos. Like how when a character gets stabbed through clothes, clearly a blood effect is still visible, while Ishmael doesn't even get any injury. In fact, it doesn't affect him at all after a few seconds. Plus, when he tells the player,
I'll take the right, you take the left.
he never actually shoots and waits for the player to take both enemies out. His CQC is really poor compared to what's been shown in other MGS titles. Ishmael disappears after jumping into this corner as a distraction, even though looking closer shows there's nowhere to hide in that corner. The second bandaged patient uses the same model as Ishmael, having 2 ID tags, the bandaged right arm, and switching one's model via mods will also do it for both Ishmaels. The shot he gave Ahab didn't do anything,
Drug's not working.
and he also seems to get knocked out every time Venom takes a hit to the shrapnel in his head. The only contradiction to this theory is when Quiet says,
The patient in the next bed saw my face.
then proceeds to try shooting Venom, meaning she physically saw her real target was Ishmael in the other bed, which is why she didn't kill him and went for Venom on several occasions. But just like how the doctor and nurse's eye color were deliberately changed to match Venom and Ishmael's, clearly this mission is trying to make it hard to distinguish between reality and hallucination. As, thanks to Adrian again, changing the first title screen's effects shows that Ishmael is watching Venom as he sleeps, but more on this in just a second. In Quiet's boss battle, sometimes she'll stop fighting to bask in the sun and rehydrate herself in a body of water, leaving her vulnerable to attack. In fact, if you cause the weather to change to rain, she'll also automatically start doing this because she breathes through her skin, thanks to Skullface's parasite treatment after her injuries. But did you know Ishmael might not be the one to first set Quiet on fire? As she strangles Venom and he passes out, you hear this. But if Ishmael is actually real, this wouldn't be possible since he needed a lighter moments later for his cigar. So it could have been Venom because when Psycho Mantis is being controlled by a host, he adopts an aspect of that character onto himself. This also happened to Venom Snake in the hospital scene, since he caused Mantis to crash the airplane when he woke up from the coma and destroy the XOF helicopter that was chasing them. Meaning Venom could have unknowingly been the one to set Quiet on fire, as controlling Mantis meant controlling the man on fire as well, as Skullface did in Africa. Volgan even killed an XOF soldier moments later in the same fashion. This could also mean that Ishmael was a hallucination created by Psycho Mantis to aid Venom, which is why sometimes he can be seen by others and then quickly disappears soon after. The Man on Fire boss fight has so many different ways to defeat him. Not only can you ram him off the cliff with this jeep, but there's multiple water tanks around the area for you to stun him with and cut Psycho Mantis's control. Plus, these big structures are also water tanks that you can blow up to shower him, and shooting this gas tank can push him into the pool, which is an instant kill. But the easiest method by far is using the water pistol, the most overpowered gun in the game. Though even if you manage to fault in him, he ends up escaping and reappearing in another side mission sometime later, where he turns back to regular Volgan and realizes that Venom isn't Naked Snake. Although he didn't use his normal methods of IDing someone, fans online say that Venom's eye color is more green than the real Snake's blue eyes, and Volgan saw the difference, but he also recognized Venom from the hospital. This meant that those who saw both Ishmael and Venom would have known which is the real one, since he doesn't have a bionic arm, shrapnel, and scars, which could also be the reason why Quiet never unleashed the vocal cord parasite on Mother Base. After Venom spared her life, she didn't need to retaliate since he wasn't her target. In Mission 30, right before you reach the helipad and meet Skullface, you can find these generators with the Diamond Dogs logo on them. The same model can be found in the oil refinery, but without the logo, meaning it was deliberately used here, especially since this final area is only accessible in the mission. And since OKB-0 is a secret base run by XOF, it could mean Miller had possible business ties to Skullface like he did with Cypher. In fact, PythonSelkan's video also brings out that this voice in the past torture cassette tapes
I gave her a transfusion, a nutrient cocktail, and an anesthetic.
Give her the shot already!
uses the same voice actor as Miller,
This is the enemy! And he's here on his knees!
as confirmed by this post and Kaz's voice actor liking the tweet. Keep in mind, Miller's squad was completely wiped out by the Skulls, only leaving him as a prisoner, and even says this when rescuing him.
No more use for me, huh?
Leading many to believe Kaz assisted in the Ground Zeroes events, and the version we see is a manipulated memory of Venom's hypnotherapy. It doesn't help that Diamond Dogs use the same helicopters as XOF from Ground Zeroes, compared to their old equipment from MSF, and the fact that Code Talker says this.
Eyes on Kazuhira. A message from the parasites.
Venom Snake was in a coma for 9 years, which is the same amount of time since the Phantom Pain's release. And still, no game has come close to this level of detail, passionate storytelling, and amazing gameplay in the stealth genre. So let's appreciate this masterpiece Kojima created that has players 9 years later still guessing exactly what the Phantom Pain's all about.
Kept you waiting, huh?